Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality, yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. You got a question for RLN? Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Oh, now we get real. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality Radio. I'm your host, Rebecca Lynn Norrington, and my arms are open. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the show. Thank you for being part of the audience. I have been getting so many wonderful comments, new listeners, and it's all because of you, my dear audience, spreading the word about reality spirituality. Now, before I go on to the topic of the day, which is it's growing in my own life, and so you know me, what happens, I love to share with you. But before I do, I want to just give my new listeners a little taste of what this show is about. Reality spirituality. What the hell is that, and who the hell am I? Well, I am a self-proclaimed #1 happiness specialist. And what does that mean? That means that I have chosen to put happiness over everything else in my life. Happiness is my goal. Happiness is my agenda. Happiness is my intention. Happiness is who I am. And before anything else, it is more important than anything else that is going on or happening in my life, including relationships, including accomplishments, including money, including where I live, including material things, including anything exterior, anything external. Happiness is my priority. Happiness is the only thing I am interested in. And the funny thing is, when I really committed myself to making happiness my goal, happiness my only priority, my life began to change. My life began to change in a way that brought me more peace and even more happiness. And, you know, this word happy, everybody's got a definition. Everybody has a different idea of what this means. What does happy mean to you? Well, this is my definition of happiness. It means that I'm okay, and I feel good, and I am connected, and I am at peace with whatever happens in my life and with whatever doesn't happen in my life. Whatever the journey looks like, whatever the journey feels like, whatever I'm experiencing, I am going to be happy with all of it. Now, don't think that I have this mastered. Don't think that I have all the answers. But what I can say is, when I began, and this commitment to happiness began decades ago. When I was younger, I asked the universe for two things: to live to my potential, #1, and to be happy. And what I found was that this happiness, I thought happiness would come from marrying Prince Charming, or traveling around the world, or connecting, or achieving, or having, or doing. And none of that is true. and again, I'm going to say for me, because I do not pretend to speak for you, my dear audience, or you, my other dear audience, or anyone, but I am here to share what I've learned. And these past 2-3 weeks, I have to say the universe has put me in I like to say they put a spotlight on all of the cobwebs, put a spotlight on those dark corners that need to be exposed. These things that need to be exposed in my life, the reason they need to be exposed is because they're actually subtracting from my daily happiness, from my moment-to-moment happiness. And I want to also say that you are all welcome to call in. I have a few people in the queue, and I'm going to get to everybody in the queue today. Trust me. The number to call in is area code 646-564-9619, area code 646-564-9619. So getting back to prioritizing happiness and why that is my number one agenda, goal, intention in every moment. One of the things that I want to share with you is I've discovered that I do not, and let me repeat that. If I was on top of a mountain, I'd be screaming it. But, there's still some people that are still, it's a little early here in Pacific Standard Time, and I don't want to get too loud. I do not have any control over what happens to me. I don't have any control of what doesn't. I used to think, oh, yes, I can, work, I can set a goal, I can accomplish a goal, and then I, yay, me, me, yay. And the reason why I believe that I don't have any control over what happens to me is because, quite frankly, I don't know about you, my dear audience, but there would have been some twists and turns and detours that I would not have taken. I would not have chosen. I would not have wanted. So I'm at the stage where I know that I do not have any control of what happens, but what I do have control over, talking about free will, I have control over my perception of what happens, my response to what's happening, my behavior, my words, my attitude. I have control over my focus. And quite frankly, I forgot. And I also have control over my personal vibration. I have control over my energy, the energy that I want to put out into the world, the energy that is me, my energy. I have control over that energy. Oh, excuse me. Let me get a little bit of water right now. Oh, got to open the bottle. Reality Spirituality. This is live radio. Yes, where was I? Back to having control. What do I have control over? Now, one of the things that I've talked about in the past is our perspective. And what I used to do years ago, I would have a perspective. And when I say a perspective, I mean one perspective. I would look at one situation, and trust me, that would be my perspective would only be one way. Can you relate to what I'm saying? I mean, I would only look at a, quote, problem or an issue one way. And usually, 99.9% of the time, I was always right about my perspective. No one could convince me I was looking at a situation the wrong way. But what I've discovered with this wanting to be happy is I have to practice finding other perspectives. I have to practice. I have to think about other ways to look at the same situation. Other ways to look at the same situation that I find a problem or not a problem, a huge problem. And if you practice, just like anything else, if you practice looking at the same situation with different eyes, if you will, or with with a creative eye, with creative thoughts, then you'll find that you can perceive anything that happens to you in a way that is going to add to your happiness as opposed to subtract from it. Now, what do I mean by that? Perspective is so important. Your perspective, the way you look at anything that's going on in your life, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your situation, whether it's your health, whether it's money, whether it's fill in the blank, whether it's your children, the way that you perceive, the way that you look at anything is going to determine how you're going to feel. But guess what the good news is? Guess what? You are the only person. You are in charge. You choose your perspective. I need to repeat that. You choose your perspective. You can choose any way you want to look at a situation that you feel is, it's not right, or it shouldn't be happening, or whatever, a problem. You choose to look at it, and in other words, you have free will to choose your perspective, and that is the good news. That is the great news. One of my favorite examples is I remember a woman called in a few months ago. This was a while ago, actually, and she was complaining about her drive to her job, and she said it was an hour and a half, and she said it was her dream job, but she still kept complaining about the amount of time she was on the road, even to the point where she said, you know what, I'm ready to quit this job. I can't stand driving an hour and a half. It was torture for her, even though it was a dream job that she'd waited for, I think she said, over a year to get. Now, I asked her, is there any other way you can look at that hour and a half drive and you can feel good about that hour and a half drive? Is there any way you can change your perspective and think about that drive that's going to make you feel good? That's going to look forward to driving an hour and a half. And this is what's so amazing about my audience. My audience is, one of the things we all have in common is that we want to know the truth. If you listen to this show and you continue to listen to the show, it's only because you want to know the truth. And when I say the truth, I mean like the least common denominator, what's the nitty-gritty, what's really at the core of all of these issues. And this woman said to me, which I was so proud of her, she says, you know what, I can think of this hour and a half drive differently. I can look at it with maybe positive eyes, or looking at the same hour and a half drive instead of going through it grudgingly. No. And she said, you know what, I can use that hour and a half to meditate. I can use that hour and a half to maybe contact people that I lose touch with. We all have friends, people that we maybe talk to once a year, once every 2 years. She says I could catch up with old friends. And I asked her, I said, is there anything else that you can look at the same hour and a half drive without this feeling, crappy about it? And she couldn't think of anything else. But I shared with her, I said, what about now that you know that all you need to do is change your perspective about any situation to feel good, just change your perspective. Now you have that knowledge. You can share that with anybody. You can share that with anyone who says, woe is me about this this certain situation. Woe is me about this experience. Woe is me about this circumstances. Blah, blah. I'm miserable. This is making me miserable. You can share that now with other people. How to practice changing your perspective. Isn't that cool? So that is one of the things, and again, back to changing your perspective. It's all about practicing. This growth, this spiritual growth, this personal growth, this evolving. Let me see. Listen, if you could see me, my left hand is up in the air. That means I'm testifying that this shit is not easy. This journey is challenging. But trust me, my dear audience, every challenge that you run to, and it's run, don't walk, every challenge that you run to, every time there's something that happens that you just, instead of going, making a U-turn, you go to it and like, okay, how do I get over this? How do I get to another level? How do I conquer this? And that is the topic today, about what is so important. I have to share, and give me a couple more minutes, people in the queue. I have to share a story. A family member of mine is actually in their 50s, and this family member has had a really rough time, from drugs to homelessness to now, mentally really not able to retain. They're functional, of course they can feed and eat, but as far as retaining anything, in other words, this person is now on a permanent disability because of things that have happened in their lives. I'm going to use his. Could be a woman, could be a man, but I'm just going to say his, in his life. And I got involved because, like I said, a family member, and what I found was he was going to come into Social Security benefits for his disability. And what I found out was that the person that he's living in a transitional home, sober living home, and the person that is the house manager actually signed to take over my family member's Social Security benefits. Now, this person who wants to take over, who tried to take over and actually succeeded, doesn't have my family member's best interest. So I have to step in. And as soon as I found out about it, I stepped in. And, had to go to Social Security, questions, the whole thing. And it really bothered me. It really bothered me that someone would try to take advantage of someone in my family. I got this mama bear kind of thing going on, and it really, really pissed me off. And so I went to Social Security, got everything straightened out, changed the benefits, no problem. And do you know what happened just last week, audience? But this family member was still living in that home. Do you know what happened just last week? Well, the house manager of my family member, who tried to get the Social Security benefits like 2 months ago, then I had to step in, actually took this person back to Social Security and changed the benefits again. Obviously, I don't know what's going on with Social Security Department, but you can walk in and change your benefits and change your beneficiaries and change, I guess endless. I didn't know that you could flag the case, red flag it. I didn't know that at the time. But this just happened last week. Now, I am fuming. Yes, this happiness specialist wasn't very happy. I was so angry. The nerve, and listen, you just don't know. I am a fighter, and I've been a fighter forever, especially when something is quote-unquote unjust. And here's where the universe steps in. Even though this situation, I labeled it serious, I labeled it important, I labeled it, I labeled it, let me just stay with the importance. I labeled it serious and important to the point where thinking about it, even going through the motions that I had, what I had to do, the appointments I had to make, the people I had to talk to, maybe the almost 20 people I had to talk to get this situation straightened out initially, just to come and find out that it was changed back last week. I deemed it all important. And last night, believe it or not, the universe told me, because I've talked to, listen, you've heard me say this isn't that serious. Well, apparently, I still think that there are certain things that are serious and important. I still perceive that there are certain things that I am going to label serious and important. And when I did, this has been like 3 weeks, maybe a month or so going back and forth. And when I do, I'm telling you, I was restless. My thoughts kept going. My thoughts were going all over the place. I, couldn't see the light of day. I was attached to an outcome. I got to get this person out of the house. I got to get this straightened out again. Who am I? Do I talk to an authority? I have to get a restraining order against these people. All of that, yes, I needed to do all of that. But with the energy I had was, this is important and this is serious. And that energy of this is important and this is serious did me in. Took me to a place where I was never at peace. As long as I thought, as long as I put this label on the importance of what was happening, and I think you could agree with me. Someone that's getting some disabled person, mentally disabled person that's going to get their Social Security benefits, all they have ripped off. Isn't that important, universe? Isn't that important? Well, apparently it's not. And when I say it's not, that doesn't mean that I am not going to take care of business. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to intervene. It doesn't mean that I'm just going to ignore. No, I am going to do the best I can to get my family member out of this house, to get my family member their Social Security benefits back again, to see that he is put in an environment that is going to support and care for him as opposed to take advantage. I'm going to do all of that. But what I'm not going to do anymore since last night is think that any of this is serious or any of this is important. Because when I suffer. I'm suffering. I can't. It's important. Oh, this is important. Now, I'll tell you what is important. What's important is my connection to the universe. What is important is my energy. What's important is what is my happiness. And I can still take care of business, and I can still take care of my family member without that energy of, oh, my God, it's serious, this is important, oh, God, help. It's a different vibe. So that's what I wanted to share. And I'm going to go right to the phone lines here because I've got a lot of people waiting to speak with me, and I love it when you call in. Again, the number is area code 646-564-9619, 646-5649-619, area code 714. What is your first name? Welcome to Reality Spirituality.
Oh, good morning. My name is Leanna.
Hi, Leanna. Welcome, welcome. What's going on with you?
Well, a lot of things have been going on. I've changed. I retired from a job that I had for about 28 years. I moved out of my apartment that I was sharing with my daughter. She's an adult now. And I moved to a different city, and now I'm doing a different type of work. Something I've been wanting to do and I've been doing on the side, but now it's my primary income. And I'm waiting for somebody special to come in. And anyway, that's what I've been doing the past month. Actually, I just moved 1 month ago.
You know, your energy is so light and so easy. I just feel really, you just, you're really light, you know, just like air, light. I love your energy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I feel that. At least I feel it right now.
The job that I'm in is allowing me, and people are coming to me that I can do like a little meditation while I'm doing massage on them, introducing them to different things, taking their migraines and, you know, making them go away or whatever. People are coming to me, you know, in that arena that are allowing me to do what my heart is it smiles, you know, when I'm doing it. When I walk away from work and I'm tired, my body hurts, maybe I have a smile that I don't know how it got there. I don't know why I'm smiling because I'm tired. Kind of like that. So I know.
Well, you're smiling because you're smiling from within. Your smile is coming from within. And I'm getting chills, and I always get chills when I hear the truth or I speak the truth or this truth is around me. I'm just all chilled up right now. But your smile is coming from within. And it's interesting that you said you're waiting for someone to come into your life. So I guess you're waiting for Prince Charming and one of those kind of guys. You were waiting for that, sweetie?
I'm waiting for somebody special to enjoy this journey with, even if it's, well, I didn't want it to be a short month or so, but I want somebody to play with.
Okay, now I have a few questions for you because one of the things I feel that you are doing a lot of trusting.
Yeah, I trust everybody.
No. I mean trusting in the universe.
Oh, yes.
And so for whatever reason, but you trust and you really trust. In other words, you are really connected and in sync with the universe, really trusting. I mean, you said a lot of things about moving out, starting something new, doing something that you've always wanted to do, your heart, your passion, you love it, you smile from within even though you're tired. All of this stuff is a lot of trust. And then you said people are just coming to you, right? Right. So what is it that you're missing? I mean, I know that you said you want something to share, but when women and or men ask me about, when is he or she or I want someone else to share things with, one of the things I love to say, and just bear with me here, is you're sharing all of this with the universe. You're sharing all of your good times, all of this feelings, all of this with the universe, the most powerful entity. I mean, I use the term universe. Some people say God, the higher power, spirit. It doesn't matter what term you use, but you're sharing all of this with the universe, and really what you're saying, I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there, is that there might be a little speck of dissatisfaction because you don't have another person to share this with. Am I off or what?
No, you're not off. You're not off.
Okay.
I'm wondering what do I have? Am I doing something wrong or not enough, or do I need to do some cleansing or whatever?
No.
Okay.
I'm getting chills again. No, there is nothing you need to do. I don't believe about cleansing. I don't believe the cleanse, the blocking anything. This is what I believe. I believe that if the universe has this grand plan for every single person, and especially because I'm talking to you, my dear Leanna, I'm talking to you. The universe has this great plan for you. And I can't speed it up. I'm talking about my plan. I can't speed my plan up. I can't slow it down. I can't make it stop, and I can't make it happen. So what I'm sharing with you is that energy that you have of dissatisfaction, because it is an energy, it is a vibration, even if it's just a small dissatisfaction, that is the core. It's about, what?
I said, oh.
Yeah. In fact, in my book, I have a book. It's called RealitySpirituality: The Truth About Happiness. You can find it on Amazon or on my website. One of my favorite chapters is the bitter pill of dissatisfaction. And all it is just being conscious that you're now, with all of this, you're still dissatisfied. In other words, dissatisfied with what you see, seeing meaning that there's no man in your life right now. But in reality, the universe is really asking you, aren't we enough? Can you be satisfied with us? Isn't the universe enough?
Okay. And that would be yes.
Well, this is the thing. Once you get to that point, and I've gotten there, listen, honey, sometimes I go backwards, sometimes I go forward, getting chills again. I've gotten there, but once I've said, okay, let me just really quick. 3 years ago, I started this radio show, and when I first started, listen, nobody was listening except for my family members, and believe me, they didn't listen all the time either. So it was my one person or two people listening, and I kept whining to the audience. I kept whining to the universe. Hey, universe, why don't I have more listeners? Why don't I have hundreds of listeners, thousands of listeners, millions of listeners? And the universe told me, we're listening. Isn't that enough? You feel me?
Yeah.
Breathe.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? And the thing is, my dear, is it's a total surrender to your moments. It's being okay and being satisfied with your moments exactly the way it looks like right now.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. I'm not going to promise you what's going to happen after that, but I am going to promise you that your life is going to change even get even more magical.
It sure has been lately. It's been so scary, and then I decided just to be okay with it, not to be so afraid, and then start talking to people around me that are, because of the minimum wage, and it's like an economic war out there, and people are having such a hard time, and I'm in the healing profession, and people are coming into the arena that I'm in to get worked on, and the people that I'm working with, stressed out, not healthy or, just working really, really hard or in pain, don't have enough money to pay the bills, and I'm giving the information that's been given to me, so I really need to walk that walk,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be in the victim mode. I don't have insurance now. I've never not had insurance, and now I'm retired. Always taking care of myself, and it's just different because I'm working on a third of my money, and everything's so expensive. So I fell right into that victim mode. I can't take care of myself, and so yesterday I was like, what am I doing? I just have to trust even more than I did before. And I need to be talking to people, and that's why they're coming to me. So there is no going back. I've got to have that faith that I know I have, and just keep walking forward and not fall back into, I don't have enough. I'm not going to have enough for rent. I cannot do that. It's not an option. So now I have people looking at me and listening to me. It's like I have to walk forward. I cannot fall back into the victim mode. And the moment I feel it, I need to stop giving my power away and regain composure and not be embarrassed by what others think, or they think I've fallen. It doesn't matter, because I got back up and I'm going forward. And be strong for them and lead by example.
Because your energy has shifted. But let me share something else with you, because there is something else I want to say, and we were talking about it earlier, or I was talking about it earlier, about being serious. There's a few things I want to share. One of the things is the universe has and will always have your back. Whatever happens to you is going to be for your betterment. Whatever the hell it is going to be for your betterment and your growth. Period. That is a done. I mean, you have an entity. We all have an entity, but I'm talking to you. You have an entity that has you, embraces you, is holding your hand through this whole journey. That's number one. Number two, this is the thing. I love these voices in our heads. I some people call it the ego, and this is something else that I talk about. There are two voices in my head, and I usually say it's the universal voice and it's the man-made voice. You know the difference. You know the difference, right? You hear the difference, right, Leanna?
Yes.
Yeah. And so this ego, I'll just call it ego, whereas I'm not resisting it, and I used to really be an ego hater. I was really hating on the ego. How dare you think I'm not enough? How dare you make me think that I am not doing enough and I'm procrastinating and I'm lazy, and how dare you think I haven't achieved enough? All this other kind of crap. And what I found I use now to, if you really, really want to screw with the ego, this is what you do. This is what you do. You actually, what I do is I put it on a stage. I don't know if you've ever gone to theater and live theater, and you're looking at something on stage. Well, you know that whatever's on stage isn't real. So I put my ego on stage, and I actually have fun with it. And I actually say, oh, you think I'm a victim, or, oh, I can't afford this, or, oh, woe is me, or doomsday's right around the corner, and I have, all of these things that the ego, the thoughts and what you hear, this voice of the ego, and I'm thinking, and I say out loud, really, is that all? What else you got? What else about me that you think that I should pay attention to? It really lightens it up, as opposed to trying to fight with the thoughts and trying to resist the negative thoughts. It's a different type of, it's acknowledging the thoughts but knowing the difference. And I actually say that the ego is 5 years old and wants all the attention, wants all your attention. And when you give the ego attention in a way that resisting, then the ego grows. And what really smothers and starves the ego is to look at it as a 5-year-old child and saying, really, I mean, can a 5-year-old child really do any damage to you? Really?
No.
There you go.
Only if you let it.
But even so, but look at your ego in just a different way. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And then lighten up. And another thing is, one of the things that subtracts from my happiness is being in the future. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen next week? What's going to happen? Well, you know what? Being comfortable and being okay with uncertainty is another practice skill. It's not easy, but practice. Practice living with uncertainty and being okay with and being happy about uncertainty.
Yeah, I was dating somebody, and they would tell me, if you're in fear, you're in the future, and if you're in anger and resentment and guilt and all that, you're in the past.
There you go.
So just stay right now. Nothing else matters but right this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because I told him, I'm so afraid. I'm afraid I don't have a job. I have a new apartment. I don't have a job. I don't know how I'm going to pay. And he said, you're in fear. You're constant fear. Get rid of the future and take care of today. There's no one knocking on your door. You know, you have a place to sleep. Everything's okay. I'm like, okay. So I will forever remember that.
You remember when we first started talking, and I said something about trusting. I said you feel like you trust and you trust. That's all it is. It's just trusting. It's just trusting that you're going to jump off the cliff and you're not going to go to your death.
Yeah. My girlfriend, she's the one that helped. You know, like a cheerleader for me making my change, because I've been asking about it for years. And I said, but I'm so scared. And she said, well, you're an eternal being. This isn't going to kill you. And even if it did, I mean, you never die anyway. So why not?
Ooh, listen, honey, you have some good friends.
I do. And I am grateful for this woman. Because I'm like, I don't live in that area. I don't know how to get a good job. She goes, well, just move. I'm like, who just moves? How do you do that? She goes, just do it. Okay, so what do I do about it? She goes, you're not going to die. You're an eternal being. What are you afraid of? It doesn't matter. Have fun. I'm like, okay, who does that?
Yeah. Well, you do that now.
I do. And she's wealthy beyond. So it's like, oh, well, I'll just buy another house or whatever. So, but, you know, I guess that's the way to look at it. Just have fun. Play and have fun. Not be afraid. I'm like, okay.
That is true. Do you know Abraham Hicks?
Yes, Esther and Abraham.
Yes. Well, one of my favorite Abraham quotes is, in fact, it's my favorite Abraham quote, is, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. And this is all about the journey. It is. This life is about a journey. And it's not about what it looks like, and it's not about what it feels like, because all of that are illusions anyway. It's your connection. It's your connection with the universe in every moment. See, I have this thing about, well, it sure does look like nothing's happening. It sure does look like nothing's changing. It sure does look like, but I'll tell you right now, Leanne, I am not the same person I was last week.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm not.
There you go.
I've been diving into the deep end of the pool is what I've been doing for the past year. Literally, actually, the past few years. I dove in, I got hurt, I got up, and it was like, what? But I know what I want, and I know what I don't want, and I'm just going for it. I'm going for it.
Well, you're going for another way of doing it is just saying, I'm trusting. You know, let me say this too. I want to throw this in because you sparked something else. And I don't know if you believe it or not, but I believe this totally. You're not really doing anything. You're along for the ride. You are really along for the ride. And so it's time to sit in the back seat of your Rolls Royce and let the universe drive and enjoy the ride.
Okay.
Yeah, you really don't have a lot of power as to what's, I used to say, I'm making this stuff happen, or I'm making things happen. That's all ego.
Well, if
that's
I don't
what I
do
believe.
Something, I have to do something. I know I'm doing something.
Well, let me say this. Yes, and because I get this, back. I got to do something. Yes, I do something when I'm inspired to do something. When the universe inspires me, I'm making a move. When the universe inspires me, I'm so sensitive. I know, I can feel it. Even if I'm driving in my car and I plan to go to the grocery market and the universe says, nope, you're not going there right now. Just make a U-turn and come back home.
Wow.
That's how connected. And when I live with just doing what I'm inspired to do, you don't even know. I could have my clothes on, I could have my makeup on, my hair combed, all cutesy cute and out of the house, and then I have another inspiration not to leave the house. And guess what? Turn around, I'm back at the house. So, yes, I do a lot of things when I'm inspired to do them. And that inspiration is coming from the universe. So you're acting on inspiration, whether you want to label it that or call it that or not. But you are acting on inspiration.
Okay. Well, I hope I get to be that sensitive someday. I'll strive for that. Relax into it and.
Mhm. And let me close with this, because let me say this: your call is so important to my audience today. You touched on so many important topics. Oh my God, you're just a wealth. You're just a wealth of sharing and information and truth and all that. So I want to thank you. I'm just so grateful that you called. And let me share this last thing too, is because you said, I want to be that sensitive. Whenever I say I want something, I just ask the universe a question. I always ask the universe in questions, hey, universe, how can I be more creative? Hey, universe, what would it look like if I was more creative? Or, hey, universe, how would I, how would I feel if, these are my favorite questions, because I'm struggling here. These are my favorite questions. My favorite questions is, and I ask all the time, this is from consciousness, what is it? Access consciousness. What else is possible? What else is possible, universe? And let the universe just roll it out. What else is possible? What else is possible? What else is possible? And then just put it to rest, and believe me, you'll get your answers.
Huh. Okay. Well, that's going to be what I'll be doing on the mountaintop today as I'm hiking.
Yay! So are you in Northern California?
Temecula, yes.
Okay. Northern, yes, I'm in Southern, and I want to move in Northern. Trust me, I've already thrown it out there.
I'm Southern California. Southern California.
Oh, you're Southern.
Temecula,
well, I want to move Northern.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in Frisco this last year speaking, and I've been to Frisco before, but I've never been to San Francisco as conscious as I am now, as connected as I am. And the vibe is really cool. The vibe is good. Just Northern California, up north, along the beach somewhere. I've already thrown it out. Hey, universe, what it would look like if I lived in Northern California.
Well, I'm really happy here, so I think I'm done with all the changes, I think, for a while. So
all right.
I'm very happy, very, very happy here.
All right. Well, I'm happy if you're happy and the universe is happy. So we got all of this out. Just to recap, this is really important, this energy of dissatisfaction. Universe, how can I maintain an energy of satisfaction in every moment of my life?
Okay. I appreciate all your time.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it has. Thank you so much for calling Reality Spirituality Radio, Leanna. Thank you so much for being part of my life today.
I love today.
You know what? See, audience, this is what I'm talking about. And there's a lot of people in the queue, but not everybody wants to ask me a question, which is okay. And I just feel that every show is different and every show has their highlights and their points and their little bits of wisdom. And Leanna merely addressed a lot, talking about the energy of dissatisfaction, about fear, about being a victim, about, the ego and the voice, and listening to the voice and not knowing and walking the walk. You talk the talk, but let's walk the walk. And we talked about the future, we talked about the past, we talked about that you never die, your energy never dies, you live forever. I mean, are you kidding me? What a great show, if I must say so myself. And I do. This show, Reality Spirituality, that's what it is about. It's about real life issues, real life. Getting down to the nitty-gritty, what I like to say is finding out the least common denominator, what is at the core of all of our issues. And again, when I decided and made a choice to make happiness, make this contentment, my connection with the universe is the most important thing in my life. More than my family, more than my child, more than my health, more than my wealth, more than everything, magic happens. And you know what the magic is? And let me tell you something. This magic is not something that you can touch. The magic is coming from within. The magic is a feeling of being light, of knowing, of trusting, of chilling throughout this journey, of coasting throughout this journey. This magic will cause you to feel good no matter what. Feeling good no matter what. Crazy? I don't think so. I think that's the only way to live. Whew, what a great show. We all have been listening to Reality Spirituality. And again, Reality Spirituality is heard every Saturday and every Sunday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My website, RebeccaNorrington.com, RebeccaNorrington.com. Go to my website. You can order my book, my latest book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness. And you know what? I'm putting together my second book now. I know my first book hasn't even been out a year, but my second book is going to be about, listen to this, audience, the biggest lies ever told. The biggest lies ever told. And that is what I'm going to write about. And what are some of the biggest lies ever told? I'll tell you one of them right now, is that anybody can make you feel good, bad, happy, sad, miserable, irritated, annoyed, that anybody has the power to make you feel like that. That's one of the biggest falsehoods, the biggest lies ever told that people have the power to make you feel, oh, and you're offended, and I'm offended, that you can be offended, that you can be miserable, that you can be angry, that you can be feel all of those feelings, and it's somebody else's fault, and you can blame somebody else. That is a huge, huge lie, misconception, untruth, whatever you want to call. Oof, I get all worked up over that. Anyway, my dear audience, if you've loved the show, and I know you have, go to Reality Spirituality's Facebook page and like Reality Spirituality Facebook. And remember, until next week, I want to remind you who you are. You are an extension of the universe. You are a physical extension of the universe. You're always changing, you're always growing, you're always evolving. Love is patient, and love is kind. Be patient, and be kind to yourself. Be your own best friend. Remember, like Leanna said, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. Let's connect again next week. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality.
Yeah. Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. Spirituality. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, you gonna feel good.